Good evening. I'd like to thank all of you for coming out for this community meeting. We have some things we want to need to talk about, we want to talk about. If I could get Councilman Marcus Jackson and Matthew Felicity come up front, please. When you start throwing rocks, we'll get behind it. If I could get Speaker Robert Robinson to give us a short prayer.
Okay, let's pray. Our Father in heaven, we come tonight just to tell you thank you for giving us one more day. And Father, we pray that you would just continue to bless us. Father, bless this meeting, Father, that it will be handled decent and in order, and that we'll do all things that will please you in this meeting, Father. And whatever it may become, Father, out of this, Father, let us all come together in Christian love, Father. And we know that you have all power in your hand. We want to thank you for everything that you have done for us, Father, for you truly have blessed us. And we just want to tell you thank you. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Amen.
Well, it's good to see everybody here tonight. God has blessed us in so many different ways, all around Prattville. Fortunately, some of the weather that has hit so many other areas so hard just recently, he's spared us in so many ways, and I think he's trying to guide us and direct us, and that's, I guess, one of the reasons why I'm glad. I want to thank Brother Henry here for pulling all this together, because initially we started talking about this vision about what can we do for this whole area, because Councilman Jackson and I, we're always working on what can we do. We've got to work on projects, but as we all know, all these things that we're talking about, it takes money. And so through that money idea, we're trying to get ready for our budgeting. And then also to me, I don't want to speak for anybody else up here but myself, we do a lot more together than we can individually. And so the subject matter tonight, as I know it, is our park. And what can we do? What do we want? And that's what I would really like to hear from everybody here, or for the community center. And I reached out to the community center some time back, and gave them some of my thoughts and ideas about a park right across the street over here. And because we all know our police officers have been up in that park area for various reasons. Some of them have been drug and gun related and so forth. And there's been some good activity. There's also been some bad activity. Now, I have never been in the military, but one of the things I've always heard is that, you want the high ground to be looking down on. And so that gives our police officers a little bit of a disadvantage, because if they're out there trying to patrol and keep everybody safe and so forth, they have to drive up, and some of the bad guys are already there, and they can either change what's going on or leave or something. But there's been a lot of great things that have gone on in the park up there. So many things that I don't know about. And I actually hope that the community here can enlighten me on some of that. And I've been here in the city of Prattville my whole life, 61 going on 62 years. Went to the junior high up here, 1970 I think it was, 71, whatever. I'll have to go back and do that math. But so I've been around. My family has been here, business related, school related, community related, and everything else. But even though you might live here in Prattville my whole life, there's so many other things I don't know about Prattville, whether it's here on the other side of town. Matter of fact, someone was asking me the other day what was in this one business before Chris's Barbecue was there. And I said, right now I can't remember. But on the other side of that, we're looking at some old photographs of Continental Eagle, and had some historians there that knew all about the manufacturing there, Continental Eagle, and everything that's gone on. But they couldn't recognize these one long rectangular items there. And I said, oh, I know exactly what those are. That's when Common Legal were making these cargo containers that you see, they use shipping for equipment and stuff, products across the oceans and everything else. Well, how do you know that? And I said, because when I was 13, 14, 15 years old, I was mounting tires and loading them up and taking them over there, and they were making the trailers. So some of that little history there that none of the historians knew about, but some of the local knowledge sometimes can be very, very important. So that's one of the things I hope we can include in this community event as well. What is this community here? What are we looking for? Because obviously, in my opinion, we need to do some improvements to our parks. And I want some guidance, I want some directions from this community on what we can do. Now, my thoughts and ideas, if it's okay if I can go ahead and put this out there, because I brought it up to Mr. Washington, is that, and I have learned so much since we first started talking about this, and we've had to peel the onion back, and I think we have all learned, or quite a few of us have learned quite a bit. But I came to Mr. Washington at first and said, you know, what if we had a partnership and we relocated the park around the community center here? The community center here is able to reach out through various grants and funding sources, and we can actually help with some of that lifting. But when it came to some of the bigger lifting, and right now, I really don't know what that is, but I consider the city of Prattville able to do the heavy lifting. That might be what if it's needed. But if a new park is decided upon by this community here to relocate, if it's feasible, around here, then the community center here could manage it. And then if there is something that is needed, that the city could possibly step up and help out with. I know one of the improvements right away is that I know some of our parking lot out here is unpaved. And if you had a partnership on that, I could see how that could get paid and be a benefit to a lot. Because some of the parking lot, I believe, is actually some of the right-of-way or so forth. So it would actually tie in, I think, a lot better once we really start looking this over. But I know there's been some concerns. I saw a flyer talking about, don't let them demolish the park up there. Don't let them take the park. Nobody's trying to take the park. We're trying to find out what the community wants so we can make it better, whatever that is. But again, I think we can do a lot more together, working together. Once we find a vision, pull that together and incorporate that into a plan. It's not going to happen overnight. My thoughts and ideas, you probably have to break it down to a 5, 10, 15, maybe even a 20-year process and see what we can accomplish. And at the end of the day, we might just have to say, guys, that was a good thought, but it's just not going to happen. And that's okay. But we need to have a backup plan. And I think Marcus Jackson can verify this. And whenever we start looking at something, I want everything on the table. And sometimes some people get their feelings hurt about that. But to me, you need to have everything on the table. You need to look at the big picture. But if we can't get together, it's not feasible for one reason or another. It might be historically impossible. It might be financially. It might be terrain related, whatever. Well, we need to have a backup plan or a forward marching plan for what we're going to do up here at Upper Kingston, North Highland Park up here. So nobody's coming in here and saying, here's our plan, take it. We're coming up, I'm coming up here, I'm saying, I see a vision. I want to find out what your vision is. At the end of the day, it's going to take a lot of blood, sweat, and equity and tears in there, and money. And so I want to know, what is the community looking for? And I'll be glad to answer any kind of questions. I'm going to leave my business cards here. They have my cell phone on there, so call me anytime y'all need me. Thank you.
Good evening. Good evening. Yeah, I know Mr. Roscoe and Mr. Washington, Mr. Bozeman, several people throughout the community, apparently they've all had conversations. I think these conversations about the park even started before I even got elected into the position. So So they've all talked about possibly, hey, what can the city do to help the community center? What does the city, what can the city do to help? You know, and I think they've all talked about the logistical issues that they have with the park. So they approached me. I think Mr. Washington and I, Mr. Roscoe, like I said, we've all talked about it in the past. And, you know, and I know, and I appreciate Mr. Washington even having this meeting, you know, to get people out. Unfortunately, I think his idea and purpose for the meeting kind of got hijacked because it came off as if there was some type of conspiracy to hijack to take the park. And I don't think that was Mr. Washington or Mr. Roscoe or the mayor, any of their plans. But they just want to try to work together and hear from the community. I know Mr. Stoudemire and I have all talked about it as well. So it's about what does the community want. You know, they want community input on what can we do moving forward. I know last year I met with some people from the community, Mr. Washington, I think Ms. Adair. We had a meeting up here. We met about an hour and a half, 2 hours, talking about what is it that we can do to help North Highland. You know, I talked about possibly us coming together in the spirit of our ancestors that built North Highland, the school. I said that school was so influential, not to just people here in Prattville and Otago County, but surrounding areas. So I said, hey, we got land up here. What can we do, Mr. Washington, Mr. Roscoe, and several others? What can we do to possibly even help expand this current building and possibly even add a gym here? Because there's nowhere, because I get a lot of complaints from people in the community saying, hey, there are kids in our streets, there are kids in our yards playing ball. And I said, in the spirit of our ancestors, why don't we look into possibly developing this land out here, building a community center? And so I asked them, you know, for their help and ideas. And unfortunately, there's some other things that came up and took our attention, but we tried to encourage a lot of young people in the community to get involved because it's gonna take other ideas, it's gonna take money, it's gonna take planning. You know, I reached out to some people and I had a guy last year that was gonna come and talk to Mr. Roscoe and Mr. Washington about coming up here and looking at this and saying, hey, how can we develop this? You know, so there's some things that I'm glad that his intentions were good, were great, matter of fact. So I think it's good that the community is involved, and hopefully we can get people involved and become active in trying to help the committee here at North Highland, because they need our help. You know, they're gonna need our ideas and they're gonna need our financial help. You know, from some of the posts I've seen on Facebook or heard about, it seems like there's a lot of love for the center, but it's gonna, in order for them to continue to move forward and be successful in making this place what it was designed for initially, it's gonna take money and effort. And we're gonna, hopefully that same type energy that went into people talking about this and what was planned and a lot of misinformation, but hopefully that same energy is gonna be brought to the table to help the North Highland Committee develop this center, whether it's expansion, whether it's developing an activity center, so that we don't have to continue to beg people to do something for us here in the community. You know, we need to get together and put our money together, put our efforts together, and help North Highland Committee moving forward. If it means so much to so many people, it's easy to get on Facebook and social media and say a whole lot of things. But like Mr. Roscoe and I said, a lot of people gonna have to put their money where the mouth is. A lot of talk was said, but what are we gonna do to help the North Highland Committee? So I hope tonight, you know, one of the good things that'll come out of this is that people will actually join the North Highland Committee and help and say, hey, what can we do? It ain't about just the park. Nobody's talking about taking the park. That was not the conversation that they had. This conversation that they started this conversation years ago about that park and what can the city and the community do to come together and work together. So this is not new, but I just hope that effort, and I hope people will join, because like I said, they need our help, the community needs our help, and they have about, what, 5 acres, Mr. Roscoe, how much y'all have around here?
It's 600 feet deep, and, I forgot how many feet wide, but it's about 5 acres. 5 acres.
Yeah, so they're about 5 acres, so to me, I think the community needs to come together. It's not about taking that, no one wants to take it, but we need to join and put our efforts in to, hey, what can we do? In the spirit of our ancestors that say, hey, we needed a school for African Americans before integration, so they came together and pooled their money and efforts and built the school on this site. So I think we need to have that same energy in developing something and helping them move forward. Because like Mr. Roscoe said, he said, we're all up in age. We can't do this. So I challenge everyone here to be a part of this. Be a part of the solution. You know, not just on Facebook, but be an actual part. And we may have to commit a little bit financially to help you guys moving forward. And I look forward to working with them.
I am Commissioner Larry Stradamon, and I don't really have too much to say about this. I just learned about this myself last week, and after I learned about it, I started talking to Councilman Jackson and the mayor about it. But I'll leave you all with this. It's not easy to just take the part from you all anyway, so I just leave it at it, because I've been doing my research, and it's not as easy as people think it is. Thank you.
And if I might, just before I'll hijack the microphone for just a moment. Okay, we have had a partnership here in Prattville with another area already, Spinners Park. Technically, Spinners Park does not belong to the city of Prattville. It belongs to the Spinners Association. I think we rent it for like $1 a year or something along that line, and we do a lot of the heavy lifting there. And so that's just one example where, you know, we don't have to reinvent the wheel here. We already have some examples of a partnership there. I don't know how long Spinners Park has been like. It's been since I was 5, 6 years old. So just one example of what we can accomplish.
Since you said that, let me go ahead and, I wasn't going to say it, but let me go ahead and say this. The North Island Park does not belong to the city. Probably a lot of you all really don't know this. The North Island Park belongs to the Tulsa County Board of Education. So all this Facebook stuff and things that been said about the city of Prattville is not true. Now, the Tulsa County Board of Education on the North Island Park. Now, the city does the hard work, just like he just said about the park. So, if y'all have any more questions about this, just get with me, okay? Thank you.
Okay, my thing is that I want to know, like the mayor put it to me, what do you all want to do? Now, if you want the park as a historical, then that's fine. If you want to partner and we build another park, that's fine. But, you know, we want to leave here tonight with some idea, at least, of what you want. And the next thing is, what are you willing to do or work for what you want? You know, if you get grants, if we get grants to do something, they're going to ask for us to come up with some money. It ain't going to be whatever we do, even if we work on that park over there. If we want to do something over there, we want to put something over there. If we get a grant to do something, we're going to have to do something. And I can see the amount of people that we have here tonight, it's important. So now, if anybody wants to say something, if you want to walk up here to the mic and say it, or we'll bring the mic to you. So now, it's open for discussion. You want to come up here?
No, I'm not come up there, but I do want to speak on the Facebook part, because I was one person who posted on Facebook, but I wasn't posting on Facebook to tell them what was going on with the party. My post was to let them know about the meetings. If it was important to them, they would be here. So all the little comments that were made, like I had to go back and tell them, I don't know what's going on, but if you want to find out, come to the meeting. So I just want to let you know, because I posted on Facebook, but that's the only social media you have is some people that you can't get in touch with. So I just wanted them to know about the meeting. So let's just make that clear, okay? Then second of all, you know, I went to North Highland. I'm quite sure quite a few of us in here did, because some of you are older than me. I feel the same way Marcus just said. Anything that can help the community. Right now, you know, my biggest challenge is that the police are called all the time for my kids playing football in the yard, and if the ball rolls over into someone else's yard, they get back, they call the police. I'm game to help any way I can help to try to do something for the kids and for the community. If we can expand this community, this North Highland Center, because it's way smaller than our school, but if we can get something going on for the kids and the community. My kids, my grandkids still come to this park in the summer and play basketball. I remember the swimming pool, I'm quite sure a lot of us do. Yes, crime happens not just in this park and all over. So we're not going to say it's the crime that's the reason we need to do something. We need to do something to make it better for the community. So I mean, if we could take some of that historical stuff that we have over there, if that's a decision that's made and it's brought over here, then we still can look at it and say, you know, I remember. Every visitor I have that comes to Prattville, I always bring them this way. And I'm always like, this is a part of the North Highland High School. I can't show them the high school, but I do have pictures of it. But that's what it means to me. The park means a lot to me because it's been there since day one, since I was a kid. But whatever we can do to better the community, I'm all for. I'm quite sure all of us are for. Anything that we can do to help our kids and keep them off the street and educate them, keep them educated. If we can come up, if we extend this building, if we can come up with programs to help them after school. It's a community center. Nothing goes on here. Nothing goes on really for the kids. So, I mean, anything, because that's what North Highland High School, that's what the North Highland School was. It was for, you know, we went to school there. It educated us. So we want to still educate our kids. So if we can come together and expand and pull the park over here and make it something that's going to help the community, it should be something that should be done.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Testing 1, 2. Good evening.
Good evening.
Most everyone know my name is Derek Moncrief. I consider myself a community activist. The reason I say that, I've been working through the years on my own time trying to help our children in this community get a continued education. For showing them how to fill out their grants, getting them scholarships, arresting people to vote, expelling voting rights, etc., etc. I'm not trying to toot my own horn. It ain't what America would do for you, what you could do for America. Pretty example of that. What I want to know tonight is everything need to be laid out like they say. If the North Highland Park don't belong to the North Highland community. It's owned by the Board of Education, that some of you already know, they just said. If they have to do something else with this, or something got to go on up here in North Highland community, add on to our community to make it better, what we need to do is make sure the land that we got, with the city councilman, the mayor, whoever, where the money need to come from, we need to get together and make sure we get the expansion of the gym in the community, our after-school program, our summer program, and I'm pretty sure we got a 501c so they can get somebody to run this full-time center with a janitor, a full-time person to run this community center the correct way. And the kids don't have access to computers, have a computer lab somewhere. I'm just brainstorming. Computer lab somewhere for after school. We already got after school program on Thursday. I'm not mistaken, every Thursday they have a tutoring program here. Computer access where they can use computers here. Tutoring program. Senior citizen program is showing it because we got people on fixed income and have a program where the housing needs to be fixed and they have accessible some type of grant to show them how to manage money, how to fill out their FAFSA for Pell Grant. It needs to happen right here. Now, before we leave tonight, this is what needs to happen. We need to know which way we are going. Some of the ways in which we're going. How, if the park is something that the city of Prattville needs to develop something up there, go ahead and tell the people now, so we'll know if they have to build something up here, all the way up through some land up here, make sure it happens. But we got to get together tonight. I might repeat some same thing happen. But if you don't invest in your community and get somebody to get together, we can't be divided right now. Now, there's a shocker tonight they're saying the Talk County Board of Education own that land up there. Now, do you understand what I'm trying to say? A lot of people didn't know that. They thought it owned the North Highland Center. Huh? So now we're at uh-oh. Now it's gonna be another meeting outside, don't count. Now this is the meeting that count. Now this is the meeting that count. So we need to come together and say, hey, we got 5, 6 acres, whatever the acres we got, 5 acres. On some of those 5 acres, we need to get a gym. We need to be able to add on to this building so we can host 300. But that takes money, because I think so many, the reason this place didn't get big as it should have been is because for you to build it even bigger, you had to have a $30,000 sprinkler system to be in here. That's why it's this small, because you ran out of money. So I'm gonna challenge everyone, and I'm gonna challenge the board that I'm on to also get on the website, to get a website where they can put their credit card, and you need to pay money instead of sending monies in here. You can use your credit card and send money directly to uplift this program here. Now, do I make any sense about that? I think if we get a summer program, after school program, where the kids can afford, most African American kids cannot afford to pay for a summer camp. The only reason my children attended the summer camp, because I was a worker for the city of Prattville for 8 years, and all my kids went to summer camp for free because I was a worker there. But if I had to pay $65 a week for each one of them, they wouldn't have been there. So all the kids wanted to go to summer camp, but they couldn't go. We got to invest in our youth and our elders. And that's what I'm saying tonight. And they can let everybody, tonight, our politicians, our mayor, let everybody know what we want to develop, what's going on. If you all notice, the city of Prattville is changing. You got big industrialists coming here, and the money that need to come here need to stay here. The money made, people need to be living in the city of Prattville, and the taxes do not need to leave the city of Prattville. And they not to go on the east side of Prattville in Elmo County. It'll need to be in the Talk County and City Council, City city limits of Prattville. So the houses, rooftops got to come up to house the people in this city. So development coming up on back Court Street, development up this way, it got to happen. And our people right here has got to live in the city of Prattville. And I want to thank you, and I know I was prolonged, but I had to mention it tonight. Thank you.
I think we have to give him a round of applause for that one go.
Could y'all limit the time to speak, because I know everybody wants to speak.
And I really do appreciate you. Can you right hear me okay? I do appreciate your vision, and you know, sometimes it's okay to disagree. I don't think we're gonna find an answer tonight. I think this is gonna be, we're gonna need to get something started here, because his vision is obviously a lot larger than mine. And I love your vision. But I think we're gonna have to start off something tonight here, and then maybe have more meetings. But right now, I do love your vision, but I look forward to seeing you guys at more of these meetings.
Okay.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Pete Taylor. I agree with what you were saying. There's a lot of history up on top of the hill. I've been swimming up there. I was a little boy, and I came up here, and this park is significant to a lot of people. Like the mayor said, there's a lot of good things that have been said and true. The mayor said, this can't get done tonight because it's impossible. I mean, when I buy land, if I'm gonna buy a car, whatever I'm gonna spend money on, I take my time, and I never make a decision right then and there. It takes time. And there's a lot of stuff to be digested tonight by us. So it's gonna be impossible just to say what we're gonna do, what we wanna do. Now, me, personally, when I came up here, I was under the same thought of mine, that they wanted to demolition the park and they wanted to do something else. No one knew exactly what, and it's a good thing, that's why I came. And I'm not being disagreeable with anyone, but I always thought that the city owned the park. Okay, maybe a lot of other people did too. I didn't know that Spinners Park was being leased out for $1 a year, you said, Mayor, to the Spinners. And that's the same, to the city, okay, to the city. So the same thing, really, if we're gonna do this, I don't think we need to, now that's just me personally, I think that the park needs upgrading. I think there's a lot of good things, but it never had enough adequate parking. There was never enough adequate parking. Even in the heyday, when all of us used to go up there in the pool and tennis playing and the basketball court and they covered in the pool, we never had enough parking up there. We do have an annual gathering that we have, North Highland gathering, everybody goes up there once a year. It still has the significance, but we don't have it upgraded for the kids. Really, the stuff up there ain't safe for the kids to play with. So, I think it's twofold, just for me. I have no problem in giving money into doing something here. This community center, everybody call it community center, but when I was growing up, me and Darryl Shiv and Wesley, Jerry Aubrey, all of us, we leave the park playing ball, kids, and we come down here. But it was something for us to do. Kids can't come here now. There's no games, there's no activities that's going on here on the daily, especially on the weekends and during the summer. We had somewhere to go during the summer, but they don't have anywhere to go during the summer. Plus, if they go up there, it's inadequate. I'm gonna try to hold it down. I know everybody wants to talk. It's inadequate facilities up there for them to play in. So, it has become a place that doesn't attract the kids and activities as the other parks do. So we could build here and upgrade that at the same time. But the only thing with me in building, I feel like, and Mr. Thunderman started by some of these other builders in here, and I built some stuff and built my home and built up at my place. You gotta look at the terrain, now which I don't know, I used to walk terrain, you have to do an environmental thing, you have to do perk tests and all of this other stuff, so we don't know what the terrain is around here. So it's a lot to digest for tonight. But building something else, especially a life center for the kids, I think would be great. For them to have a place to go during the summer, they don't have a place to go. And then we could still upgrade the park. And it does take money. So we need to keep that all in mind. Maybe like the mayor said, we can't get it all done tonight.
Okay, on what the brother said was about, we need one, I'm just gonna say one thing. We need volunteers.
No, I just want to say something.
It's on.
I just want to say that some of the stuff that I was gonna say already been said, so I'm just gonna hop right through. But we have like the park over there. That's about the only historical landmark we may have left. We lost the school down here. We lost Ward Chapel. So that's the only historical landmark that black people right now. We got the one up on 6th Street that I know of. Might be some more. And we need to, like they were saying, I said it already been said, but scripture said be anxious for nothing. So that means that we, like he said, we need to take our time and think about this thing. Everybody gonna say the same thing from me all the way through till you get to the last one. And we'll be here till 9, 10 o'clock tonight. So the thing is, we need to, close this meeting out. Everybody think about it. What we really want to do. Stay off Facebook with everything. If they didn't come to the meeting tonight, they don't need to know what went on. They should have been there. So cause they ain't doing that, and it also takes time to do everything with children. It's a real serious thing. I worked with City League football for like 5 years, and I would pick up 15 or 20 every day and go get them. So like he said, gonna take volunteers, and Mr. Los Alexander used to say, any organization got to have members and dollars. So that's what it's gonna take, but I ain't gonna say nothing else. He gonna.
I would like to say that we do have 2 historic places around here.
Got to see it.
Where the recreation center is and the parks. It's true that the school burnt down, but we used the old bricks off of the school to put the recreation center back up. So we're in the process now of getting a plaque put over in front of the school, in front of the recreation center down there. So we still have the park and we have the recreation center down there.
We got a gentleman that here been waiting for a minute. I guess you guys can see him, so we're gonna give him this opportunity next.
Okay, I live up in the park. I know what's going on up there. I think if y'all move, they put those trees out there, they clean it out like y'all did in Spindler Park, you won't be surprised what kind of room you would have. Only thing you gotta do is go up there and clean it up, put those old pine trees down. And see all the old pine trees leaning, and then safety come for anything.
Okay, first of all, I'd like to say that this ground that you're on now, this building, was not North Highland. First of all, it had to be bought. And so Mr. Dozier and his wife bought this. And we came in and made a loan to get this started and build this. We tried to get other people, younger than I, to come in and try to put their money together so it could have been large enough. But most people thought that some people paid $300. They thought that should have done everything you need to do. Not true. You cannot have a program here unless you pay in, because you gotta have to pay light bill here, water bill, you gotta service everything here. You got to pay all these utilities and everything else. So everybody that joined up was just paying a little small fee of $25. We could not get that. I worked here one summer, gave up vacation for 3 months. I do not live in this area. I am from Watauga County. And I came up and volunteered for 3 months. Okay, we did this to help the children. Nobody else wanted to volunteer, so they put the program other places for the children to come and have lunch or whatever. We tried to get a tutoring program. Mostly everybody I asked that had finished college, they said no. I need to be paid as a part-time job. We had no money to pay them. So we had paid off the loan on the building. So now you don't have to worry about that. You need to come in and you need to help get done what needs to be done in your community. I'm 72 years old. I'm at the end, so you need to come in. Thank you.
Good afternoon, good night, hello to everybody here. I'm a new person in the community. I have my own challenges just coming to this community. But you don't really want to hear about me. You want to hear about like what we need to do. And first of all, what do you want to do? What do you want North Highland? I guesstimate about 60 people here tonight. I was trying to count seats and the ones that were filled. But I first of all like to say to expedite this meeting is we can supply you with some paper and pencil. Write down what you think what you want this particular situation, this particular area to be the part, how you like to see it improved or whatever. Would you like swimming pools or tennis courts or gymnasiums or whatever you think would be an improvement and something good for the community. Because if we all get up here and give our own testimony, this could go on forever. And I think that was the reason the meeting was called, to find out what the community wanted, what they need. So to expedite things for myself, especially because I'd love to hear your testimony, but I'm not really ready for it tonight. So if we could do something like that and get it more moderated, Brother Robinson, and sort of get it on that road. See what the city really wants to do. What would you guys like to do with the park and the area? And since I'm on the board, I'm on the board at North Highland here, and I get frustrated, but because no one's giving me a guideline or a plan as to what they really want to do. And they said, let's go to the community and ask. So now we have the community here. Come on, tell us what you want, and then I think we can run with it from there. You find out what you really want.
Can I say something? We're talking about the North Highland community. I would like for the members of that are currently on the committee to be recognized, and also stress from whoever is, how much does it cost to John? And, you know, because some people don't even know. I mean, I don't know. I know I paid one time, but that was it. Like you said, you can't pay one time. So with the members that are already members of the community, stand up and let us know and tell the people here what they need to do to be a part of the community. They need to pay, they need to come to meetings. That's what I'm saying. Bob, okay.
Good evening. All the members of our committee, will y'all please stand? All the members of our committee. I would like to say good evening to everyone. To be a member of our committee only costs you $300 to join. You don't have to pay it all at once. Once you become a member, then we pay $25 a month. We do that because the utility bills are very high here. Whether we rent it out or not, we have to pay the utility bill. But we meet on the first and third Monday of every month at 7 o'clock, and we try to be through by 8, a little after 8. I've been listening at a lot what everybody's saying, but in order for us to grow, for us to have what you all want to have, you need to help donate. If you don't want to become a member, but you need to come to our meetings. The most important thing, if you come to our meetings, like I said, we meet the first and third Monday of every month. Like the concerns that you all have about the community, if you bring it to our meeting and bring it to us, that way we can make a discussion, we can try to stabilize it and present it to who it needs to be presented to. We need to come together as one. I thank everybody. It's just amazing. I am so blessed to see everyone out tonight if they are. But I would love for you all to come and support us. We trying to keep North Highland going. We trying to keep the name going. This is the only thing that was donated and given to us back in the 30s, I think it was, if I'm not mistaken, or whatever. But if you all are concerned about North Highland and want to keep this as our identity, meet with us. Like I said, the first and third one. You might not can come to all the meetings, but come. Please donate. If you don't want to become a member, just give us $300. We need it. We can't expand our building. We used to have programs here. They had computer classes here. They even had the GED program here. We have had several different programs. We even had tutoring here. But if you don't send your kids, if you don't support us, where do we go? It takes, one thing about having an organization, it takes members and dollars. Without those two, nothing's going to happen. You can have all the money in the world, but if you don't have people, it's no good. And if you have the people and you're not giving the money, it's still no good. So as you can see, all the members that's kind of standing around with the hand, whatever, please see us. We will do everything that we can to help do whatever is concerned to you all and for you all. But you got to support us too as well. Thank you.
I'd just like to say one or two things, and I'm gonna be out your way. I'm with Peter Taylor. For several summers, I attended the North Highland, and they did have different activities during the summertime. I've learned two words as I've gotten older. That's idealistic and realistic. Idealistically, we already have the money to do whichever one it is, whether it's over there or over here. Realistically, we don't. We understand that it came out tonight that the Board of Education owned North Highland, which means they owned it the whole time. Even when I was at North Highland. My thing is, go ahead and enhance what it is that you already have. That way the Board of Education, North Highland, along with the city, is going to have to contribute to that. If you do something over here, all you're going to have is North Highland in the city. You already got low participation and no money now. So what do you think you're going to have if you move it over here? No, I'm not a member because I was naive. What I mean by that is, it was my understanding, or I thought, that you had to attend North Highland to be a member. I did attend North Highland. So I learned something here tonight. And my thing is, enhance what you already have, or what you already been using. Either way it goes, when you come to this meeting, after this meeting, whatever you decide, come with a proposal, come with a plan. You can't just say you want to build a house, but yet you don't have a blueprint for the house. Have a blueprint for both ways. For that part, for this one over here. My thing is, enhance what you have. Now, two things. I know we said pass around a piece of paper so you can vote. I'm grown now. I say keep what we got. For those of you who want to vote on some paper, that's fine. Take a vote one way or the other. Go ahead and solve that so you can move to the next thing. You see what I'm saying? No sense continuing to prolong. Now, I got a challenge. I'm not a member. I will join tomorrow. Mr. Taylor, you a member?
No, I thought I had to be, yeah.
You don't have to be, you don't have to graduate from North Highland.
With that being said,
But I went to North Highland.
with that being said, I'll join tomorrow. I'm gonna challenge Mr. Taylor to join. Thank you.
Okay, since we had a challenge, I'd like to see some more hands, because I'll be here tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock. I'm here all the time. Not all day sometimes, but all the time. And the paper's not for voting. The paper's to have your name and your number. So you at home. I mean, that's all.
What I'm asking them now is what they want.
They want to vote.
Want to vote?
Oh, well, that's fine. I said, I gave our paper just for address and phone numbers, so you can be informed. If you have an email address, you'll be notified of the next meeting. Okay?
And that's what I was gonna say, that, I was just gonna emphasize, she said it, that on that name, on that sheet of paper, I said, you know, everyone put your name, email address, and your phone number. You know, that way that the North Highland Committee, they will be able to reach out to you to inform you of what's going on, how to join, future meetings, etc. So, I appreciate Sam and Pete challenging each other, and I challenge all the younger people in here. Because one of the challenges I've found, because I have been meeting with Mr. Roscoe, Mr. Washington, and a few of the members since I've been a part of this, and I gave Mr. Washington access to a grant site and paying $99 a year. But the challenge was who we're gonna have to navigate that site for the community center, because Mr. Washington, I think he's still paying for it, but he hadn't been able to use it because there's no one, he can't navigate it. So we need some younger people to join and actually be a part of this to help navigate, because there are so many grants out there. That's the challenge, you know, and that's what I told them as well when we met about building this activity center over here. I said there's so much grant money, but again, I challenge some of the younger people. I challenge my sister, Tequila, Derek Mark, some of y'all junior, some of y'all that are internet savvy. You know, we're gonna have to put our efforts into helping. You know, Mr. Washington, I know, has been paying for that website that has access to like 7,000 grants for the last 3 years. And they haven't been able to use it because, you know, whatever. So we need to help. You know, we need to help, and we need to do our part. But like I say, this is just the beginning, but we need to just do our part to help. You know, like I said, we need to stop asking people to do it, because like I say, in the spirit of our ancestors, they just did it. You know, we got to. Derek?
Yeah. I just want to say that, as far as the deed to the park, okay? Now, based on my research, and it's in this book here too, it's referenced in this book, so I don't know if y'all have this book, written by Ms. Panther Kane. I'm giving away a limited supply tonight, okay? For free, if you want one, to see me after me, all right? It's referenced in this book that the Clark County Board of Education had deeded the property to North Highland. So Commissioner Stoudemire, I mean, it's on the record in this book, okay? I know you mentioned earlier for us to see you regarding that. And I would like to do just that, because I would like to see the documentation that says otherwise, okay? Now, my next thing is 2, 3, 4, maybe 6, 7 years ago, the city of Prattville had sought out to get I think a grant, a community development block grant, also known as CDBG, to revitalize this entire North Highland area, okay? Not just here, but the park, all the way up past College Heights. Does anybody know whatever happened with that? Like, what happened? Why did it never materialize? Because I have right here the name of the company that was consulted, that the city of Prattville, I'm assuming, paid money for this consultant to come in and assess our neighborhood and to see what we can do and what the city can do to revitalize our neighborhood, specifically the North Highland area. Now, I'm gonna pass this around. It has before and after pictures. It's still on the internet. This company is based in Atlanta, but they have before and after pictures of this area and along College Heights. So I'll pass this around. All thing you have to do is just it transitions by itself. So you just look at the slide.
I was here at the meeting.
Excuse me?
I was here at the meeting when you get caught.
Yeah, well, I was bring it up. I think if those plans that you're talking about, I say that as well myself. And if everybody can see that plan, we have no problem with
trying to come in together and make it do. Also, the city did the same, they would have part of it as well, and also it needed the grant. But, because when I seen those plans sitting back there, it blew my mind. Absolutely blew it. 'Cause when I seen all of that, the question that I was gonna ask, I forgot it, because it looked so good. So.
Well, we don't, what plan?
Wait a minute, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying now. If we had those plans that the mayor, his job brought up here, what is it, about 3 years ago? When we had,
Three or four, right.
if we had those plans, we could see them. And then you wouldn't have any problems saying, hey, yeah, I want to come in and start doing this, because the plans that they shown, that might be was that beautiful. And it was redoing the park over this summer, right? And it was that beautiful, what the plan that, if you would see that they was talking about doing, matter of fact, it was doing the whole street of, MLK.
Why didn't that come to fruition? Why didn't the rest of the community say?
Well, they wasn't.
They were here.
You didn't see. That's why.
Actually, they had several meetings on that, and I believe during this, because we actually, the city got a grant to pay for the survey. There was a survey done of the whole College Heights area to get people out to, also, it was pretty much like a census for this area. And if I can, throw in a census plug right here. We are looking at a census. We need to push everybody we possibly can to sign up for that census, because it's very, very important for the city of Prattville, Talga County, the state. So we have one sign out here. We're looking on trying to have more partnership with the community center here, but we need everybody to try to push their neighbor and everybody else to register and sign up for that upcoming census. But we did have some grant money to come up with that master plan for College Heights, and I think we ended up having, we went to ADECA to look at getting grants for part of that process, that program, but we got shot down on that one. So some of that was actually a drainage issue over here. Now, we're still trying to finalize the 10th Street project over here that they're trying to close it out, but they have a little extra money left over on it, and they're trying to look at and see how they can, because with that money you have to do, that was a paving and a storm drainage project. So you still have to spend those monies along that same way in that same general area. So we're looking to see if we can go ahead and continue some of that money for up MLK. But I have seen those plans. I don't have them with us, but some of those plans, in my opinion, because really, the way I saw the drawings, it was trying to create a boulevard where it had, didn't have some trees up the middle of the road.
Yes.
Now see, those plans look good on the paper, but the boulevard aspect of it, I could never see that happening. We just don't have enough right-of-way in there, the ditches and everything. The other challenge that I do see, and this is just what I have picked up on riding around, doing a little Bill Gillespie surveying and so forth, I feel like we have a lot more kids on this side of Martin Luther King Drive than we do on that side. And so if the park was over here, it would be less opportunity for them getting hit walking across the street over there. But now the drawings were very, very beautiful. They had a mid-street crosswalk in there, which was Robbie Anderson, our city engineer. He did not like that at all because MLK has a little bit of a curvature in there, I believe, and anyway, that could be a challenge with that mid-street crosswalk. So there's some good aspects of that master plan, but a lot of times whenever things really start, the rubber hits the road, sometimes you have to change some of those plans. But at any other meetings, we'll be glad to bring those up. And now tonight, like I said, I don't know what the community here is going to decide, but I'm looking forward to additional meetings.
Mayor Gillespie, so you're saying that you still have those plans that Clark was talking about?
I do not, but the city planner should. We have lost our city planner that was involved with a lot of that research. We do have a new city planner, but I'm certain we can find those.
So do you think that at the next meeting that we have, that you can have a copy of those plans just to let the people get an idea that have not had that opportunity to look at those plans? And quite naturally, anytime you're building, if you're into building, vary here a little bit and there. So even though those plans may not have that walking down through it, they still should be able to revitalize this area, do adjustment to whatever, with the streets or whatever, if that's necessary. So I think if you could bring that from what I'm hearing, and allow people to be able to see what that plan is, and what's the city outlook on that plan that you put in place? Is that still in the making, or that's something that has been done away with?
Well, we have several plans from various decades that have been brought up, swimming pool plan for one, football stadium for another one, and then anytime we have projects that are associated with the swimming pool or the football stadium, we always pull those plans out, look and see what was looked at that point in time, and see actually what is realistic for today. Now, there are plans of having Martin Luther King Drive paved this year. Having that boulevard look is not a part of that. Now, one of the reasons for that is that 10th Street, for example, that is just a normal, regular city street.
So do we have the money in place, or did I hear you say that the money is not here to finish paving Martin Luther King? Because I've heard in time past that we do have the money to pave Martin Luther King all the way to 31. Is that money still in place?
Yes, but now, enough to say, 10th Street is just a regular city street. And so we take that out of regular fuel tax dollars. Martin Luther King is a main artery. So with that, we go through what they call an MPO process, where we're actually getting state, federal dollars that we pay a match. And there has been a big challenge going on, because, and I don't know, anybody who might remember the small little sewer line project we had right across this side of the railroad tracks a little more than a year ago. We were putting that in, going ahead and repairing that one in preparation for this paving project. Then the state comes back up, maybe about a week later, and says, oh, we've had a little challenge and it's not going to get done right then. I know Councilman Jackson here, he's been on the phone, emails, he has bent some ears, and I have too. We twisted some arms. We've actually gone on top of the senator, taken the engineer, city planner. So there's been some internal challenges at the state and federal level about Martin Luther King Drive, and but it should be done sometime this calendar year. So the city's money, the city is ready for that project. Like I say, that's why we did that sewer line project over there. So there are different pots of money that money's come out of. Now, it will only go to the city limits, not to 31. Matter of fact, when the county started coming in, they actually stopped, I'm gonna make this up, 100 yards shorter, or maybe 300 yards shorter than what they were supposed to. We're gonna go ahead and take it all the way to where the county stopped at that point in time. But as far as having a boulevard look, definitely going through the MPO process, they never would have approved that one anyway.
That's out.
That's right. And the only other question that I have is not required. And I've been hearing that the Board of Education owns this park. Why isn't there a representative here tonight from the Board of Education that they can speak concerning the park, the property up there, if it belongs to the Board of Education?
Well, how about if I say this, and it's going to be a little bit of information and a lot of it of probably nothing. When it comes to a lot of documentations, when it comes to properties, there's through all the years, sometimes technology today is very helpful when you have a new subdivision, having that plotted all out. You can go and you can pin and you know exactly what is what, and it's easy to find. A lot of the properties in downtown and this area here, there's been a lot of changing and over the years, change of ownership and everything. So a lot of times there's a lot of challenges finding exactly who the rightful owner is. And that is one reason why I think we all know we probably have some family properties around College Heights here that is just sitting there because of how things have progressed over the years. I'm not saying anybody did anything wrong, did anything, just the way things were done at that time. They didn't have the technology. So I don't know the Board of Ed was even invited. I think there's probably some other paperwork out there that might show so many different things. So there's more than one side to every story.
Thank you.
The board of heads was not invited, we didn't reach out to them, but put it like this, we put the signs out on the street, and everybody that wanted to come was invited. And,
Board of Health may not even know that they own it.
They know they don't. You got to pay for it. You got to pay for it.
The Board of Education done some, I think, some research on that property. And Mr. Washington inquired with me to ask and find out who the ownership was, because he wasn't sure. So after digging back for more than 100 years, back in 1969, the North Highland relinquished any rights to the property on the east side of the main public road. And they purchased 5 acres from D.W. Moncrief at that time. And then they already had another small piece. But in 1969, they traded it back. They gave North Highland what was on the west side of the road, and then they kept what was on the other side of the road. So I have documentation if anybody would like to see it. And then you can get a title search and pay for somebody else to look for it. But everything I found, they don't own it. The Board of Education owns this property.
My thing is that we're gonna need to have another meeting. Yep. So now, when do you all, one thing else, ma'am, if you could bring those pictures up here, get them and set them up, and people can call me, and I can come and let them in and let them look at them. You know, of all the pictures they had of how they wanted that out there to look. If you can get them, if they'll let us have them up here, and I set them up, and people can come look at it, and they'll see what the style I was talking about. They can see what they projected it to look like, and then you know, like y'all can say whatever. Like I said, whatever y'all want, that's what we gonna do. It ain't gonna be. That's mean I got David here.
Is that gonna be able to happen?
But the mayor said that wasn't gonna be able to happen. So we need to go.
But no. But I was gonna say what like people want to see. But
they just want to see it.
But no, what I was gonna say is.
Just look what we went
What I was gonna say is, the reason I got David here, so we have a record of what everybody said. I got it, it's gonna be on DVD and it will be in the office. So anybody wanna know what was said, I'm thinking about getting to put it on the website. Can you put that on the website, David?
Yes, sir.
Go and get him to put it on the website. That way, anybody wanna see it, can see it. Well, that's something me and the board will have to talk about though, whether they want to put it on the website or not. But it's just like David is out saying, he taking the minutes. So now, is there anything else? But we need to decide when we want to have another meeting. So now, I'm talking about later, but when?
You can have one next month.
Next month? What day next month?
Same.
You can have the same day.
Same day next month?
We just come when y'all have y'all meeting, because everybody just think about joining anyway. So third Monday. Is that good? Third Monday.
First and third.
A lot of us would like to join now though. So the third Monday of next month.
Okay. Oh, it's the third Monday of this month.
That's
Well, that's the third Monday next month. Okay, the third Monday of next month. Well, what I'm saying like this, the third Monday of whatever, as long as you join. So So now, anybody else have anything else to say? Okay, Barbara.
People that are here, you probably need the third Monday of next month, which will be fine, but when you come to the meeting, bring your ideas. If you might have a thought, go home, write it down. So this way we'll have something that we'll know what we're challenging for. Because if it's not in writing, it ain't happening.
I got one other thing to say too. Listen, I was in the military for 10 years, so y'all I'm sure for a whole lot. First thing about the military is intelligence. It's information. Please stop holding your information, disseminate it out to everyone else. It doesn't have to be a secret. Just think about it. That's why I hold a lot of things in and don't let everyone else know. So I think it's a great idea to put it on the website and let everybody know what's going on. Not just the people that's here. Some people couldn't get here. Some people didn't know about it because they didn't have Facebook in order to see Yu-Gi-Oh! And post and a lot of other information. So just put out the information. Y'all be blessed.
So when they before you all adjourn, you need to join us out to a prayer.
The next meeting gonna be at Ella. The next meeting. Third Monday.
They said third Monday.
Third Monday.
Third Monday in March, the next meeting. Put it on your sale. Okay, okay. We're going to join. But Robinson, can I get you to give us another prayer?
Yes, I keep 2 or 3 of them. All right, let us pray and be adjourned, everybody. Our Father in heaven, we thank you for being with us tonight, Father, and keeping us in control, Father, and let us have a meeting, Father, and come out with something positive. Father, we want to just give you honor, give you glory, and just thank you, Father. And Father, just set everybody in mind as we leave here tonight, that we will come back with a positive idea of what we need to do about this problem in this community, son. Father, we know that you have all power in your hand. We know, Father, that you have everything that we need. But Father, we just want to thank you for what you're doing, what you have done, and what you're going to do. These blessings in your son Jesus' name for your sake. Amen. We ain't got to Thank you.
Have a good evening, sir.